If you're someone that loves single-player games, then today's video is for you. We're going to take a look at all the upcoming single-player games that are releasing between 2024 to 2025. Starting off with the first game, we got Gears of War 6. And just a couple of weeks ago, Gears of War 6 was actually announced to be in production already. This game has been in development for so many years, and it's expected to be releasing sometime in 2025. If you haven't played a Gears of War game before, then I would highly recommend you guys to go ahead and try it. You can actually play it with your friends because the entire game is actually a co-op action-adventure. It would be absolutely fantastic if you try this game out from the first Gears of War game all the way to Gears of War 5. Now moving up to the next one, we have Gothic 1 Remake. Now, it's an open-world action-adventure RPG game where this game is basically an entire remake of the first original Gothic, which was one of the most famous RPG games back in those times, and it's finally returning. Now, this game is said to be releasing in 2024. This year, it's coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X, as well as the PC version. If you're someone that loves single-player narrative storylines as well as massive open world, which has a lot of things that you can do in the open world, and I think Gothic 1 Remake is going to be an absolute treat for you. And now moving up to the next one, we got Black Myth: Wukong, the Chinese Monkey King action-adventure game, which is not an open-world game, but the game is actually designed more like God of War style, which is kind of a semi-open world where you fight off different huge monsters, and it's basically a game that's set with Chinese mythology where you play as the Monkey King. Now, we've already got plenty of gameplay and a lot of things. The game is constantly getting delays over delays, and at this point, it's restraining. It's finally said it's going to be coming out on August 20th of 2024. Now moving up next, we've got Instinction, which actually is a dinosaur single-player camping story narrative-related game where you can play the entire storyline with your friends in co-op. Now, we've already been shown plenty of gameplay. I'm already in love with this game. And if you're someone that loves games like Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, now, if you're someone that really loves movies like Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, and I think Instinction is going to be that dream game for you guys. Now, this game is said to be releasing in 2024. We don't have an exact release date, but all we know is that 2024 is going to be the final launch. And now moving on to the next one, which is Avowed. Now, this is an open-world RPG game that's set in a very stylized version of something that we might have already experienced in games like Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Now, Avowed is basically a game that is reimagined from Skyrim, but then it has its own twists and flavors. It's kind of very stylized, nothing like a semi-realistic kind of a game, but then it's a lot of fun. You can explore the massive open world. You have magic, you have a lot of different behemoth of monsters that you'll hunt down, and it's basically Skyrim in a much diverse, colorful environment. If you are someone that really is into RPG games and a lot of fantasy stuff, then I think Avowed is going to be one of your upcoming favorite games of all time. As of now, the release date for Avowed is set to be sometime in Q4 of 2024, which is probably somewhere around October to December this year. Now moving up next, we have another dinosaur game, but then it's not a story game. This is actually an open-world survival game. This game is called The Lost Wild, and if you ask me what Unreal Engine 5.2 can do, then this game is definitely going to be able to show you what it can, because The Lost Wild has graphics like nothing I've ever seen before when it comes to the vegetations, the open world, the environment itself, in the huge, thick jungle. It just looks very realistic. Now you're going to be fighting off against some very ferocious dinosaurs, T-Rex, and a lot of realistic stuff, and it's basically a survival game. It's not a story mode, of course, it's single player. It also has PvP action, so it's both single player as well as multiplayer. It's a survival game, a hardcore one, and it's also a very hardcore survival at its core. Now, The Lost Wild is set to be releasing sometime in late 2024, or even early 2025. There's been a lot of delays for this game in the past, and as of now, they finally decided, well, it could be 2024 or 25, and that's pretty much it. And now moving on to the next game, which is a very bizarre game. Now, this game is called Alters. It's basically an open-world game that's set in space where you have to survive, and you need to build stuff. And there's also like a narrative storyline, so it's simply a single-player story narrative game that's set in space. And it's an open-world action-adventure game. So there isn't really much that has been shared about this game. All they've given us is this very small clip of what gameplay looks like and what this very confusing and bizarre game could turn out to be at the end. Now, this game is going to be coming out in 2024. If you ask me for an exact release date, we don't have it yet. All we know is that 2024 is going to be the launch date. And now moving on to the final game, we have Indiana Jones. Now, this is something that most of you guys might already be familiar with. Now, this is kind of a semi-open world map where it's pretty much a first-person shooter game. Sometimes it turns into a third-person game, so it's kind of a mixture of both. Now, a lot of people are super excited for this game. I myself, I'm very excited for it. I want to really see what the Unreal Engine can actually do with this game, because usually when I say semi-open world, I kind of mean it like it's very similar to what we have seen with Uncharted for the Thieves' End. Now, that's one of the best games when it comes to storytelling and how the game is basically feeling like an entire movie itself. So you're playing a movie, but at the same time, there's a lot of interactive stuff which also makes you feel like it's a game. Not exactly something that's playing like a whole cutscene, but that's basically what's happening here. They're trying to do their best in terms of making this game as cinematic as possible. It's a first-person game, of course, which means that there's going to be a lot of gameplay key elements. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle are going to be releasing on November 2024. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like, and also make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notifications on, and set it to all. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.